I'm Dr. Mollie Marti. Welcome to Resiliency Matters. This is where we take the big resiliency research and best practices and we break it down into small bite-sized pieces that you can begin using immediately at home. Our promise to you is that you will walk away with a minimum of 3 take action steps. And today you're in for a few bonus steps. If you could learn a simple but powerful way to build up others, would you spend the next 28 minutes with us? How about spending the next 10 minutes with us and learning not only how to bounce back from challenges, but to grow through them? Who is us? Welcome to my other half today, Angela Maiers.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so honored and excited to be here with you.
And we're so happy you're here. And I want to give our viewers just a little bit of who you are because you're so accomplished. Angela is an award-winning speaker, author, consultant in education, communications, and resilience and leadership development. She is an author of a couple books that we will talk about, and she has a master's degree in education, and she has taught, I love this fact, she has taught every level from elementary, middle school, high school, university, and adult learners. So we are really fortunate to be able to learn with you today.
I'm so thrilled to be here. And one really important thing, I'm an Iowa girl, so that makes it even more special.
It is.
I'm back in my stomping grounds of Shell Rock, Iowa. So
and we can give a big go Hawks today because I saw your master's degree was also from the UI.
Yes.
And for you other viewers, I think they know I'm married to an ISU boy, so we represent both sides here. Now, resilience is often called the bounce back factor. You get knocked down, you bounce back.
That's right.
At the Community Resiliency Project, we define resilience as the ability to cope with, recover from, and grow through adversity. And I know you share that take on resilience, that it is a growth tool. Talk to us about that.
I think absolutely, it's a component of bouncing back, but I also think there's a really special, extraordinary component of bouncing forward and moving through that heartbreak and moving through that pain and that challenge and becoming even stronger than you even can realize that you're capable of. And I think that's where the real growth and development comes in, is to look at what can happen through that forward motion and through that pain and through that heartbreak. And that's where resilience is not, abolished, it's almost welcomed, because you know that you will become stronger because of that.
And often you'll be a different person on the other side of those challenges.
Absolutely.
I know you also share our Community Resiliency Project belief that resiliency and youth building go hand in hand. And as a teacher, you have a unique take on this. So talk to us about that.
Absolutely. For 20 of the 25 years that I've been in education, it was working with some of the most resilient communities that our state and our nation has seen. Communities that have gone through poverty, that have gone through crime, that have gone through unbelievable circumstances and come out and through that as amazingly strong examples of what leadership can be. And so I think that our children are our biggest inspiration. They're not our obligation, they're our inspiration. And to watch them emerge through circumstances that maybe even you and I can't imagine going through is not only an inspiration, it is an obligation to support them as they go through that development. So you can't separate. That's what our work is about, is making others greater than ourselves, and who better to make greater than our children.
And you walk this out in your You Mattering movement, or You Matter movement and Choose to Matter organization.
Yeah.
What is Choose to Matter?
So You Matter at the core is one of the core messages and understanding and tenets of resiliency, that as I worked with what many would seem needy families and needy communities, I discovered that not a single human being is empowered by being seen as needy, that every human being, no matter what their circumstances, wants to know that they're needed. And that's the way that you empower, is when you let any individual across any age or demographic understand that their presence, just simply who they are, is needed by another person, and more importantly, needed by the world. That's where the growth begins. That's where it starts. And then moving them through that it is your choice at this moment to cave, or it's your choice to move forward, to bounce forward. And I'll help you through that, and I'll work with you through that, and I'll support you through that. But You have a choice right now. The world needs you, I need you, your family needs you. There's only one direction, and that's forward. So you matter, it evolved into choose to matter as we worked on both those component parts of the movement.
And I know you're familiar with some of the research, and I think our viewers might be surprised, some of them, to know that there is a social psychological research body behind this issue of mattering, this topic of mattering. And so we want to learn together a little bit today and introduce you to that. There's really 3 components to mattering. The first one is awareness, others attend to you. The second is importance, others invest themselves in you. And the third is reliance. Others look to you for resources. This is Dr. Gregory Elliott's work from Brown University. So those are the components you're looking at when you're helping someone feel that they matter, that they feel that they make a difference in this world. Angela, I know your work well enough from your TEDx talks to your other speaking that I've seen you lay down a challenge, and
Absolutely.
we are talking to a lot of parents, teachers, and youth builders today. So I want to do something I've never done before, and that is I want to hand this over to you for you to speak directly to our viewers.
Absolutely.
And tell them why it matters that they're letting these kids know that they matter and that we need them.
Absolutely. When you hear those 2 words, you matter, they don't just make you feel better. They don't just make you inspired. They resonate deep inside of you. It moves any room to an emotion that is really untapped, because the science behind mattering stems from biology and neurology and every other ology that there is out there, that as deep of a need to have safety and food and water is our need to matter, is our need to understand that someone notices our presence, that somebody recognizes our value, and at the deepest level is understanding that we have a place and a role in this world and in other people's lives. These aren't just niceties. These aren't just things that we sprinkle onto kids or onto people to make them feel excited. These are necessities. And when we see mattering with the same urgency and necessity as giving our children food and water and shelter, we start looking at this whole process of bouncing forward a lot differently.
And you do a couple things. We've been showing your You Matter Manifesto, which I love. And we also have some writing by you at our crproject.org website. We'll send a link. But you give 12 specific ways, the most important ways to have you show others they matter. So I would encourage our viewers to look at that. So that's tool number 1, show others they matter by paying attention to them, investing in them, and asking for their unique contribution. What is the resiliency quotient? How can you grow it, and why does it matter? When we come back.
Take my hand and start a brand new day. And together as one we'll start to see some change.
Underneath everything we are, underneath everything we do, we are all people, connected, interdependent, united. And when we reach out a hand to one, we can influence the condition of all. That's what it means to live united.
What if you bought something and then discovered you'd been shortchanged? Consider this. For the second year, the FCC reports that Mediacom delivered over 100% of their advertised 15 meg speed, while DSL didn't. Slower speeds mean buffering videos, slower gaming, longer downloads, frustrating timeouts. It's clear why more people are dropping DSL and switching to Mediacom. Call today and get speeds proven to deliver.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean.
Hi, I'm Dr. Mollie Marti, and welcome back to Resiliency Matters. Today we are chatting with Angela Maiers, an award-winning coach, speaker, author, and youth builder in my mind. We left talking about the resiliency quotient, RQ. Fill us in.
I'm not sure that's an official title, but I wanted to give parents, I wanted to give teachers and students themselves a quantifiable measurement of what I believe will absolutely accomplish what their goals are and help move them through. And if you take the elements of what success is and what the success of falling forward or moving forward is, it's your willingness to embrace change. It's your willingness to take risk. It's your willingness to wonder, to ask questions all the time about your circumstances and reframe those circumstances through those questions. Your willingness to adapt, your willingness to accept. What about this situation can I control? What about this situation can I not control? Your willingness to serve, your willingness to see whatever your role is, that in some way your story can be of service to other people. Your willingness to hope and most importantly to instill inspiration and hope in others. It's not just for them, it's for you as well. And most importantly, your willingness to act. And I think that's where people fall and stay fallen, is that they feel paralyzed by the circumstance, and taking action takes an extraordinary amount of courage. And it's the presence or absence of any one of those attributes or any one of those factors that defines what I would call your resiliency quotient, or your RQ.
And I love a couple things about that. One, that you're here taking a risk. This is new work. You're thinking about it. We were talking about it earlier. And you just put it out there to say, this is where I am with that. You're modeling the risk-taking for us and the courage for us. And I love that.
Thank you.
And then we also will write some blogs and put out additional resources around this. So angelamaiers.com, choosetomatter.org, and our crproject.org site.
That's
so
that I want your feedback. I want your questions, because this does need to be worked out in public with the community. Absolutely.
It's wonderful work. And then you have another takeaway. I have Michael Jackson singing in my head every time I think of this. The ABCs, 1, 2, 3. We've simplified a process to build youth, as simple as ABC.
Absolutely.
Step number 1.
Step number 1 is awareness. And I mean awareness on 2 levels. Self-awareness, of course, for the individual to be aware of what those attributes are. What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? How do they prepare for that? But the awareness, especially in messaging to adults, the awareness of who kids are right now. I think that with great intention, we worry about our kids' future. We worry about it as teachers and parents. We're so worried about who they become and who they need to become that we don't take time and really cherish who they are now and start looking for those attributes, because you can find those attributes in every 5-year-old that you meet, and to really understand that those are the exact things that you want to develop.
So increasing your awareness, your presence of just being with a child and allowing them to be.
That's right.
Who they
and
are.
Then do you want me to move into the second?
Yes,
B?
maybe I just did the perfect segue.
So that was the A. So be aware. The B is believe. I think that we see children as children, and we don't see them as often as contributing members of a community that can offer you insight, that can offer you lessons, that can bring to you perspective that no other person can, because children see the world so differently. And believe that they are capable, and believe that they are strong, and believe them into who they can become before they know that they can become that. That whole body of research on self-fulfilling prophecy, there's science behind that. We believe what we will become. And then the third is to challenge, to absolutely understand that we don't want to run away from challenge. We want to lean into it, because it's within that challenge, it's within our heartbreaks that we actually become the person that we have the opportunity to become, and that it's not something that can be avoided, and we shouldn't try to protect kids from adversity. We should not try to isolate and insulate them, because we are in a sense saying, you're not capable. We don't believe that you have what it takes to fall forward, when the opposite is true. So
And we do have that as part of our culture, and I know you're out speaking
Yeah.
to schools and in communities, and you're seeing that too. But culturally, and I've done a little
Yeah.
soapboxing on this,
Yeah.
I think that we take especially our adolescents, our teens, we set them
Absolutely.
aside, say, okay, you just have this period in your life where you're not going
right.
to contribute much, you're going to get smart again in your
That's
early
right.
20s,
That's
circle
right.
back to us then you can contribute. Or we get into a kind of a zombie action of running them
Yeah.
around to this activity and that activity, and not really spending that time with them of getting to know who they are, what their passions are, what their dreams are, what their
Absolutely.
strengths are. Do you see that, and how?
All the time.
What would you say to?
I think that we underestimate our youth at an exponential rate. That they're not undereducated, they're not underloved, they're not underserved, if you will. They're underestimated. And if we don't expect contributions, then we can't complain that we have an entire citizenship of passive, recipients that don't think for themselves and that don't problem solve and don't act. We have not given them practice in doing so. We have not given them challenges and supported them through. And the riskiest thing we can do is keep kids safe. The riskiest the riskiest things we can do is keep kids safe. It's like training them their whole life in a baby pool when their world is going to be the ocean, and it's not predictable. And so they've got to have small chances to practice that and small wins over small waves before they get hit by a really big wave.
And Mitch Matthews, a mutual friend of ours,
Yes,
was just on, and we were talking about helicopter parenting.
Yeah.
And he was saying that's the primary driver is I got to keep
Yes.
my kids safe, I got to keep
That's
my
right.
kids safe. And he talked about the power of taking off that parent hat
That's
and putting
right.
on a coach's hat.
Absolutely.
What tool would you say if we have parents who are really struggling, and especially the work we've done in a post-suicide community,
That's
and tensions are running high, and they do get very fearful about their
Absolutely.
children. What tool would you suggest or advice you would give?
I think to reframe